Okay, second video on sidechaining. This time I want to clean up this a bit more. As you can see, this envelope from the snare isn't quite straight down. So bitwig has this really nice feature with sidechain effects, with which you can specifically process only the signal that triggers this compressor. So first thing I want is probably time shift, -2 milliseconds. Put the same value in for attack, and then I'm gonna get a transient shaper. Turn attack all the way up, speed all the way up, pump all the way up, sustain all the way down. And as you can see, we got a lot snappier envelope, and we can just easily use this release to control how long it will be. Which is nice. So second of all, this is a bass. So I only really want to sidechain to the lower parts of the kick, especially of the snare. Especially with some snares, you get a lot of tail in the high end, and the bass doesn't really need to duck for that. So I'll just get an EQ2 and cut the highs out here. And then do a similar thing for the kick, which will probably first time shift, maybe a bit longer here. -4 milliseconds. Transient shaper. This one. Sustain all the way down. Maybe not quite as much attack, because I can hear some clicking here, and the attack of the kick, if we look at it in the spectrogram, it sort of starts in the high end, only then goes down. So I'll use another filter 2, EQ2, sorry, cut the highs. I do want this to get quite a bit lower though. And then I'm using speed and pump again to control the length of the envelope. And attack to control this attack slope here. So how fast it ducks down. Then some more stuff you can do with this is you can get a splitter. Either just use multi-band effects too. Maybe set this to like 200 Hz. And then do separate sidechaining for lows and highs. So we want the lows to only duck when the lows of the input are playing. So in here, want to make sure we also set this to like maybe 300 Hz. Same thing for the kick. No, 300 Hz, not kilohertz. And then for the highs, for example, for this kick, if I play it, you can see the highs are only at the very start here of the kick, the rest is just bass. So we don't really need to duck the highs of this signal for very long for the kick. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna take out this bass, which rings out a bit. And then I'm gonna take the sustain, speed up, sustain down, pump up, threshold up a bit. I don't really want it to duck all the way down for the highs. And then here, sidechain effects. For the snare, same thing. Just cut the lows, because we're only sidechaining the highs of the bass. And ideally you'll not use multiband effects because it causes some phase shifting, but something like Pro MB or Melda multiband stuff or whatever to do the band splitting, but I've talked about that in this Ableton video I made, so I'm not gonna bring it up again. And then another thing you can do, I guess, is take a mid-side split, put this into the mids ones, and then only sidechain the mids. Sidechain the mids to mid-side because it has this nice solo button now. You can just use that to sidechain the mids to the mids of the sidechain only. And then we can take the sides, copy this over, and of course, now what didn't work here? Something's weird. Didn't copy the mid-side split apparently. Sidechain the sides to the sides only. So for example, if you've got a mono kick but a really wide pad, you don't really need to duck all the sides down for the kick. You can just leave those in and it sounds a bit more open and less aggressive and sort of fast, but it's still relatively clean. So that's another thing you can do. Yeah, I did this a bit stupidly. I'm gonna quickly redo this. So this is the side signal. This is should also be side. So this is all just side. And then I group this. Mid side split, do it in here. Put those in the sides, copy them to the mids. And yeah, I don't really need to do the same for the bass, since ideally I want it in mono anyways. So I just want to cut these mid-side splits out here, so it ducks the bass pretty consistently, but the highs can stay a bit more open. Because I've probably, if I look at this kick, yeah, it doesn't really have any side signal, while this snare probably does have a bit of side. Yeah, as you can see here, this is some side, so I don't really need this to duck anything but the sides of the space, if they exist. Yep, it does have some sides on the top. So yeah, just some stuff to clean it up a bit further, which is kind of a nice extra layer of control to shape the sidechain signal as you want. Of course, you can also use this creatively somehow, although I never really do, but I'm sure you'll have some ideas. I don't. So yeah, that's it again. Cheers.